Hello and welcome to the Only One Formula YouTube channel. Today we're discussing, as the same as everyone else is discussing, Max and Lando Norris at the Austrian Grand Prix.
Man, I'm going to have some fun with this.
But I want to look at it from a slightly different angle. Sky Sports F1 have covered it, and it's not right. Rachel Brookes, she has tried to stir the narrative between Lando and Max. So yeah, they had an on-track accident. These things happen. It just does in motorsport. We are trying to share the same bit of track. We're trying to fight for the win. So these accidents will happen.
This is number one bullshit.
Lando and Max, they are friends. They're outside of Formula One racing, and they play paddle. They go out to dinners. They fly together. These things happen in motorsport. So when they're playing paddle, I bet Max wins from time to time. Lando probably won't fall out with Max at that stage. He will just suck it up and take the loss. Same with Max. When Max loses to Lando at paddle, I'm sure it's exactly the same way around. They are competitive people. They are both athletes, and they both want to be the best at everything they do. So you can't tell me that this is going to ruin a friendship. It's not necessarily going to do that. It's just one of these moments that happens. I'm sure it's happened to them both in karting when they were younger. It is what it is. Like, we move on from this, but the media, they have to spin the narrative and make it worse and worse. And I think Rachel Brookes did it the worst of anyone in any of the media outlets. So she immediately, when Lando Norris is out of the car, within minutes, she's interviewing him and she asks him about their relationship together and whether or not that relationship can survive the way it has.
Just finally, for me, we spoke before the race and I asked you about your relationship with him, your friendship with him, now that you're his closest rival, and you said you have respect in the car, both of you, and then outside of that you can go for dinners or play paddle or whatever. Do you still feel the same way now? Will you speak to him?
So Lando's response is that if Max takes responsibility for it and Max apologises for it, it's all good. Doesn't matter. It's all fine. However, if he doesn't, he could lose respect for Max. He doesn't say, I have lost respect for Max. He says, I could lose respect for Max.
I don't know, it depends what he says. If he says he did nothing wrong, then I lose a lot of respect for that. If he admits to, being a bit stupid and running into me and just being a bit reckless in a way, then I'd have a small amount of respect for it, but it's still a tough one to take, when we're fighting for the win. And
that's the end of it. If Max doesn't take responsibility, things change. If Max does, great. However, as soon as Rachel Brookes interviews Max Verstappen, she then says,
He said to me just now in the pen that if you apologise and admit what you were doing, he would gain some of the respect back that he feels he's lost for you during the race today.
When she interviews Max, she specifically says, if you accept responsibility for it, Lando will gain that respect back for you. But that's not what Lando said. Lando said if he takes the responsibility, it's all good. He said that he may lose respect for Max if he doesn't take responsibility for it. He doesn't say he has or hasn't. He just simply says, I could. So she spins it and she says to Max that Lando has lost respect for you, and if you take responsibility for it, that respect will come back. That's not the way this story is playing out. It's unfair to do that, especially in the limelight of all the people watching Formula One. Max and Lando, they had an accident, and that's the end of it. Let's move on, leave them to it. They are grown men. They can sort out the problems that they have together. This is totally unjust. Even whether you believe Max is at fault or that Lando's at fault, it doesn't matter who's at fault. The relationship between Max and Lando doesn't need to be brought into question, and their friendship doesn't need to be affected by the media poking holes in what's happened on track. Yes, let's discuss what's happened on track. Let's look at the incident. Let's see how Formula One can improve as a whole. Let's see what drivers can do to improve so that the sport can maintain fairness and integrity. But let's not spin the narrative and say that Lando's lost respect when he hasn't lost respect. Max has done this, Max has done that. Let's not twist things to make it more exciting for the media so that they have clickbait articles. This is me done from today, and if you liked what you see today, please feel free to follow and give me a thumbs up if you liked the video.